I always have a vision on where I want to take my companies, and sometimes I get fixated on that vision, and I don't enjoy the journey, and I have to bring myself back down to like, it's awesome opening up your third restaurant, even though you want to get to 20. You know what I mean? And sometimes you have to bring yourself back and just enjoy what you're going through in the moment.
This episode brought to you by Restaurant Systems Pro. With excitement, allow me to introduce to you today's guest, former CEO and founder of Naf Naf Grill and managing partner at Venture Kitchen, David Sloan. David, are you feeling unstoppable today?
I am, man. I'm excited to be here. This is great.
Dude, I'm excited too.
Yeah.
You're going to be awesome. You came onto our radar by way of Joe Fontana.
Okay.
And I got a lot of respect for Joe Fontana over at
Great
Fry
guy.
the Coop.
Great guy.
He had amazing things to say about you. And after doing just a little bit of research, I agree this is probably going to be no pressure.
Yeah.
This is going to be an awesome episode. I can't wait. But let's
go after it.
Let's get that motivational, inspirational ball rolling with the success quarter mantra. What do you got for us?
So what I got for you. So on this morning, let's get motivated by like to live my life knowing that we're going to die. That's I love that. And I know it's morbid, but I think when you kind of look through your life through that lens, you appreciate every day you have. I absolutely love what I do. I love feeding people. I love introducing people to new cuisines. It just gets me excited and gets me pumped.
Man.
It's awesome.
And it's just this mindset of like the people that live the destination mindset of like it's about the destination. You might never get there. Like something might happen to you. So live the life that you want to live later now.
The great thing about our business, the restaurant business, and what I've just loved is all the people I've gotten to meet. I've had lunches with billionaires to getting to know my dishwasher who's $17 an hour, and that full spectrum of different people, different educations, different they've come from different places. I have friends in Turkey, I have friends in India, I have friends all over the world, and I've met them all through the restaurant business. And that's what's like incredible about our business that gets me so excited, is just a full spectrum of people that you have to deal with. And that gets me excited about the business.
So what have you learned about people generally across the spectrum?
That there's so many wonderful people out there. Where I started getting into the restaurant business is my mother is French, and I grew up a lot in Paris, and I would eat shawarma and falafel and Lebanese food as I was growing up. And I was driving home one day from my office, and I saw this little hole-in-the-wall restaurant. Now remember, this is like 12 years ago. No one knew what falafel and shawarma was, or even hummus.
It was more than 12 years ago. I hate to let you know.
Yeah, maybe it was, man. Time goes by fast.
Because you opened your first location in 2010, right?
Yeah, 2000.
It's about to be 2023,
you're right,
man.
You're right. Jeez, time goes by.
Talking about 14 or 15
I know, right?
years ago.
Right? Yeah. So, but, I was driving by, and I saw this little hole-in-the-wall restaurant called Naf Naf Grill, and I saw the word shawarma, and I said, are you kidding me? Shawarma in Naperville, Illinois? I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, I love shawarma.
And I just, yanked my car over. I probably cut off someone, and just pulled in. And when I walked in, I'm like, are you kidding me? Shawarma in Naperville. And I went up to the owner, who was Sahar, and I said, give me a shawarma sandwich, and if this is good, you and I are going to talk. And I took one bite of it, and I went right back to him. I said, that was one of the best shawarmas I've ever had.
Yeah.
I said,
and
let's talk.
Was you like, white boy, what do you know about shawarma?
Dude, he was like, who is this guy? I come in a suit, and he's like, I don't know who this guy is.
Yeah.
And he, we end up building up a relationship. And my business partner and I, we, make a long story short, we closed down that hole-in-the-wall restaurant, and we built them a beautiful restaurant in Naperville, Illinois. And, what was amazing is we opened up that restaurant, and it became an instant hit. The air conditioning didn't work. I mean, the place was falling apart.
Oh, my goodness.
So we had to get them out of there and put them into a professionally designed restaurant.
I feel like we need to pay homage to what Sahar did. Is he still with us today?
No, he passed away.
Okay, I thought
Unfortunately,
so.
he passed away, yeah.
So we have to pay homage to him. We have to kind of share his legacy, right?
Yeah.
So what's his story? How did he get here?
Sahar is one of the most incredible people I've ever met in my life.
You see that there's something here. You see this guy, Sahar. He has the passion. He has the concept. What was he missing? I think you kind of alluded to it a little bit. Where was he? Where was he weak? Where did you fill in?
Yeah. Well, I have to be honest here. the reality of why I did the first Naf Naf was just because I wanted to eat falafel and shawarma. That's it. I was afraid they were going to go out of business.
This is for me.
This is for me. I want to be able to open up a nice restaurant that he could have. My whole idea was just to have one restaurant. I wasn't thinking the restaurant business.
Yeah.
Like, I had a good career in finance, and I just wanted to be able to eat falafel and shawarma every day for lunch because I love that food.
Yeah.
I love Middle Eastern food. And so once we opened up the Naperville location, our first location, it was an instant hit right away. So I said, oh my gosh, maybe we have something here.
Yeah.
We supplied some of the money to start the first concept.
Got it.
And then once we had kind of the first store, the first concept, something that people could come in and see what our vision of Naf Naf was, that's when we started raising more and more capital. We then opened up our second location in Aurora, Illinois, which is about 7-8 miles away.
And how long was that after the relocation of the first Naf Naf?
That was about 1 year. When you're building a restaurant brand as fast as we did, I mean, we built roughly 40 restaurants in 7 years.
That's wild.
It was like a roller coaster ride. I was in a different city almost every week. Didn't know even what city I was in. We were just building and building and building. Honestly, it's just like you just everything that you do was kind of reaching in the dark, trying to learn, how to do that. Is this the right real estate? You didn't know because you didn't have any experience.
You don't know what you don't know.
So I mean, the reality is the wealth of experience I got from building a national brand was amazing. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's priceless. I mean, you can't learn this at Harvard, you know. And so I look at it back then. The reality is I didn't know anything, and it was a lot of reaching in the dark, a lot of frustrations, a lot of time spent just not knowing the right people to go to, the right processes to put in, and you just had to kind of pound through that. So if you're building a chain, the reality of it, I always think it comes down to real estate.
Okay. Like,
real estate will make or break you. You got to get into the right real estate, the right location. I mean, at the end of the day, it's location, location, location. But when you start getting outside of your home market, you don't know the market. You're depending on people to tell you the right, this is the right area to be into. And what's crazy about location is you can be on one side of the street and it will give you an extra $500,000 in revenue, and versus the other side of the street, which you're going to lose that. That becomes like the hardest part of this game when you're growing a chain, because also great real estate is also hard to find. And if you're really focusing on growing, you play almost this mind game with yourself where you're justifying maybe a B location, and you have to be careful of that point of self-reflection. It's like, what do I do now? Like I said, you're going 100 miles an hour. Now you're 10 miles an hour.
You got tons of security financially. I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Right?
And I'm in a position where it's just like, what do I do with my life at this point? And I looked at myself and I said, I have an unbelievable breadth of knowledge of growing a national chain. So, and I said, I need to stay in the restaurant business and create new brands. And, when I look at the restaurant business, what you see in our business is that you have these concepts that might be 1 or 2 locations, and they have something special, but it takes a completely different skill set, go from 1 or 2 locations to like 12 locations where private equity is going to get interested in the brand. And if you want to build it to a national level, it takes another set of skill sets. Okay. So we have those skill sets. We went through all that. We know where the landmines are. So what we're trying to do with Venture Kitchen is not only create our own concepts, but bring in concepts where we can take them from the 2 to the 12 locations where private equity is going to get interested if people want an exit or continue to grow it.